What is up, guys? Another episode of Mixed Martial Interviews. We are here with Zane Shotgun McMullen. He is out of Cincinnati, Ohio. He trains at the JG MMA, which is George Gurgel's MMA, a UFC veteran and a great guy. Met him in person. He's a wonderful human being. Zane is a kickboxer. He's a Thai fighter and kickboxer, and he's also a kickboxing instructor and coach. So glad to be joined by him today. And also we have our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, like always, Tanner Francisco Dunphy. How are you, Zane?
I'm good, man. I appreciate y'all having me on. It's a good day to be on a podcast.
Absolutely is.
For sure, man. We first met Zane at a Buck Wild show. The first time we saw him, we didn't have any of our fighters compete against guys from his gym. So we got to just kind of kick it with these guys. It was pretty cool. The mob aspect that you guys have when you pull up on a venue is just, it's second to none, man. I remember getting my guys ready to weigh in, and we see you guys pull in, and it's like the goon squad pops out. Everybody's got everybody's back, head on a swivel, marching in there. I was like, "Who are these dudes, man?"
The army,
so,
bro.
we met you guys. We met you guys, and you're all super humble, and you're all super cool guys. You, Jackson, I always forget his full name. I just remember Jackson, the kid that could throw 1,000 kicks in 10 seconds. That kid,
bro.
Love RoboCop. Love to have him on. And then the second time, we actually had a guy out of our gym, Victor Gutierrez, fight one of your guys. And I apologize, I can't remember his name, but we were actually in the same locker room. They warmed up side by side. They walked out one after the other.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
was the bloodbath, dude. That was the fight of the night.
Yeah,
I remember, Okay, yeah, dude. I remember the coldest line I ever heard came out of my 17-year-old on the way out there. And he looked at your boy and he said, "It's all love. I love you." And he walked to the cage.
Man.
Bro, it was like,
that's respect, bro. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember just being in the cage, with your coach, Professor George Gurgel, raising my guy's hand and raising your guy's hand. It was awesome. So you guys have one of the coolest gyms, and your coach has no reason to be just the absolute pimp and humble man that he is. It's cool. What's it like to go to class every day and you have that in there? Like, he seems like a dad vibe.
Yeah, totally, bro. He's everything in one for me. He's like a mentor. Striking coach, of course, therapist, all in one. I give him everything, all of my problems, not just martial arts, but life, and he's best at that, the life coaching and like getting through to the mental and helping you keep your head screwed on straight, and I thought maybe like a year into it, I was like, when does the starstruck aspect wear off of like being around him? It still hits me sometimes where he'll say something and I'm just like, dude, George Gurgel just said I got a good jab. You know what I mean? Like, keeps me excited to progress all the time. So
I can imagine it would be easy to progress having that kind of support in your corner.
Right. He's the best. And just watching him get everybody amped up, he just has like his own separate connection with everybody. It makes it feel like, he knows you so well, not just your personality and how your brain works, but your fighting. He knows when to call what. He knows when it's time to tell you to put your foot on the gas and go. He just speaks to everybody in a more personable way, which I think is a gift in itself.
Yeah. It looks like Will might be a little frozen there.
For sure, man. And you could see it. You could see like the reason you good now? I think he's good. I see him. Yeah, it comes out, man, because like one of the cool things was like I got to speak to him, and through the night, the second time when we were in the locker room together, he kind of gave me coach advice, right? And he had no reason to do that, just out of the kindness of his heart. And I watched how you guys will send a teammate in the cage, and the teammate will hold his teammate up on his lap as coaches through the fence, and I felt like that was just incredible, man. Like, shout out to him, but we're going to move on with you, and I'm sure we'll touch on his stuff a lot, man, because he's such a great guy. Like we were talking about before the show started, you're an artist in many aspects. You play music, you sketch, You do skateboarding. When did you find the time to get good at whooping people's asses?
I mean, it's just I've always been a fan, and I've always kind of just had the mentality of like I'd talk to a bunch of people, and I'd ask them like, "Oh, you ever think about doing that?" When we're watching fights together, and I realized everybody I was talking to, the reason they're saying hell no is because they're watching in the eyes of the person who's getting their ass beat, who's losing the fight. I always watched it like, dude, I could do that. I could totally win a fight. I could totally push myself like that. And one day I was just like, I'm gonna get a buddy, make him go to the gym with me. He flaked. I guess it was God sent because I ended up walking in solo, and the rest was history. Yeah, from there on, my fiance is the most supportive human ever. She gets me out there training like 4 times a week, and we got 2 little ones, so couldn't do it without her for real.
I love that, man. And I see like my favorite thing is like when you walked into that gym, was that like your first kickboxing class was with Professor George Gurgel at his gym? That was your first time ever?
Yeah, talk about intimidated, bro. I was like trembling when I went in there. Yeah. It was wild.
So were you a fan like to the aspect where you like never miss a fight on TV like Tanner and I? The reason we're part of this, like before we even started this, we'd be texting in the middle of fights. Our friends would tell us we needed to start a podcast. They'd all come and like watch the fights with us to hear what we'd have to say or give our takes. So was that what it was like for you, or were you just like motivated in the way to become a martial artist alone?
Yeah, no, it's definitely kind of an enigma to me because I always grew up like just grazing over MMA. Like I always watched it and thought it was crazy cool, but I never went super out of my way to follow anybody super closely. The only thing I was ever into growing up was skateboarding. But as I got older, I was like, priorities change and your mindset kind of flips once you start bringing kiddos into the world and getting in relationships and stuff. And not only did I want to be able to defend myself, I saw like a bridge between skateboarding and martial arts. It's like completely self versus self. And as you're acquiring combos, it feels like you're learning tricks and stuff. You're just pushing yourself day in and day out. And the appeal to Ty for me was I got a coach yelling at me to keep moving. Like skateboarding's all on me. So there's lazy face. None of that with Ty. Yeah.
For sure, man. I feel like the arts they're all intricate in their own way. Like I'm somewhat of an artist myself in different way. I like abstract art. I'm nowhere in the way of like Tanner's like photorealism, and he draws like anime, and he's really talented with paints and stuff like that.
Sick.
I'm one of those guys who will set something in his brain for 6 months, and one day for no reason at all, I'll regurgitate it onto a canvas or something.
I love that.
But the transition for me is like the martial arts is a language for me. It's how you express yourself through motion. I feel it's writing pathways or finding scripts or stress relief in that manner through poetry and motion. I find it the beauty is in the barbaric aspect of it, but to do it efficiently, if that makes any sense, right? Like being a samurai, being surgical with the violence to me.
Right. Having some finesse to it, right?
Are you Are you a big anime guy, Zane?
I'm a nerd in my own way. I don't watch anime, but I got like this huge Star Wars tattoo all the way down my arm, and I watch Lord of the Rings constantly. But nah, no anime for me, man.
Oh man,
no anime. Okay.
Yeah. I need to hop on that wave. All my friends are recommending it.
Yeah,
So,
you
I
got
wanna
2 more
kinda put
people
you-
recommending animes here as well.
Fair enough.
I
I'll
think
take
you'll
the hint.
like Demon Slayer. I'll just throw that out for you right away. I think your personality, I've only met you a couple of times or whatever, but I follow you. I think the way you like art and the way you like your violence, I think you would like Demon Slayer. It's a really poetic
Hell
one.
yeah, bro. Those two things. All I'm into. Let's go.
So did it start, were you like a band member in school? Did you start with music? Sorry, I'm switching gears on you here. We're going to hop around a little bit. We're going to put as much Zane McMullen as we can out into the stratosphere here so we can get
That's
people
awesome.
to know
I
you.
appreciate y'all.
as far as the music goes, what is your band called? Have you guys done that for a very long time since you were young? And
Yeah.
do you guys play local shows around Cincinnati? Do you play shows?
Yeah. So we're called OFR. Stands for One for the Road. Y'all can find us on Instagram, OFR Cincy. Little shout out. But yeah, no, we play shows around Cincy. We're like all original songs. We do very little covers. We've been playing as a band since I don't know. I was probably 10 or 11 when we formed. It's with my brother on bass and our lifelong best friend who's been our neighbor our whole life on drums. So it's probably started when we were like 9 or 10 and then started taking it seriously once we got in high school. But that's been crazy balancing that and fighting as I'm like starting to venture into getting my foot in the door with studio time and like bigger shows, and it's all new, man. I'm welcoming all of the opportunities and everything, but it's kind of the same vibe as fighting. Like as I'm trucking through cool new experiences, I'm just like figuring it out as I go, one step at a time.
Right. That's what life's all about, right? As soon as you get stagnant and you get hit in that 9 to 5 like cycle and you just kind of eat
Right.
your cheese sandwich for lunch and you go home and watch your sitcoms and go to bed, that's where you die, man. You die at 30 years
Exactly.
old and you just don't live any real life. So that being said, would you rather play a lit venue and close the show as a rock star or flush somebody with shin to chin and just flatline them for a belt?
Man, I always go back and forth on this in my head, but I feel like a fighter is just what I'm called to do, and it's like I always try and refrain from like this is my calling or getting too attached to one thing, as I have like multiple hobbies I like to go and endeavor with. But with fighting, it feels like something that pushes me outside of the gym. It pushes my thought process like the moment I wake up to when I'm going to sleep. I have dreams about it. I think about it all the time. And all of my other hobbies, it's like that's my escape when I'm doing it. But fighting, I take with me everywhere. It's not like a chip on my shoulder. It's more or less just like I'm constantly wanting to improve, and I'll always be a student. So just evolving in my brain every chance I can.
Right. Yeah, I think that once you have the bug like that, many of us like walking down the Walmart aisle throwing combos at the
Exactly,
deodorant
bro.
and stuff on the way by, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right,
um,
right.
so you find Professor Gurgel, you train for a little while. I'm kind of ignorant to your complete record here. How many kickboxing fights do you have currently?
Currently, I have 8. Yeah, and I'm
Okay.
3 and 5 right now.
So did you walk up to Professor Gurgel and say, "Hey, I want to go try this. I want to go get in the cage as an amateur. I want to see what's up," or did he go up to you and say, "Hey, I think you're ready to go test your skills"?
Yeah, it was kind of funny, like recalling on that. It was more of like in the room, there was a group of people who had all laid out their intentions. He said, "Who wants to fight?" They all raised their hand. When I raised my hand, I didn't realize I was actively signing up to fight right then and there. So he kind of just assessed the whole room and was like, "All right, I'm taking you guys on the card." And I'm just kind of like, "Okay, I guess this is happening. We're doing it." And as we were like progressing through fight camp, he had mentioned like at one point he said something, if you haven't been training 1 year, then you don't need to be fighting yet. And I think I was like 8 months in, just set me into a panicked state. And I had this conversation with him where I was, like, I don't feel like I'm ready. And he's like, if you weren't ready when you raised your hand, I would have told you to put your hand down. I'm allowing you to go out and fight and experience this opportunity. And my first one was for a battle at the fort, I think it was called, out in Fort Wayne for Sudden
Okay.
Impact.
Oh,
Super
okay.
solid
Yeah.
Yep.
show. Yeah, awesome time. Had a great time. And I was like co-main event for some reason. So to start off the whole entire fight career or journey, whatever you want to call it, with closing out a show, if you will, is like every fight since then has been pretty manageable on the nerves side. You
I can
know,
imagine.
right?
Oh man.
Right. You seemed very smooth in your last fight. I got to pop in and watch it, and then I got to watch it after the fact, the video when it came out. But I was in touch with the ref, Elgin Engel, who is a dear friend of mine. Funny story
He's a
about
savage.
Elgin Engel, dude. The first event he was refing for Buckwild. I had a guy in the cage, And I don't think it was his fault. I don't think the rules were completely explained to him before. Even the fighter meeting, they just kind of threw him right in there. And shout out to him. That's cojones to go in there and ref a bunch of dudes throwing fists at each other on a moment's notice. But he did that. So my guy's in there, and they had like the 3-second clinch rule, right?
Right.
And the dude's fighting my guy is getting lit up, and every time he starts to get lit up, he literally starts hugging him. Well, I'm very passionate. I'm not seasoned like Professor Gurgel, and I don't know how to be smooth with my words. I just come out and say, this guy's an idiot in the middle of it, right? So Elgin and him being a man, he pulls me aside. We have a conversation, whatever. So we're great friends now. We're great friends now. Honest to God, that is my boy. So he's texting me. I'm like, when is Zane McMullen fighting? Okay. You tell me what happens. I can't find the link. I know it's going to be a banger. He messages me right back, says he smokes him. I was like, all right, yeah, I kind of saw that coming. And dude, I didn't see like the first couple minutes of the first minute of the first round. The video cuts a little short, but you look so smooth. You look so prepared. I remember watching you guys. I remember seeing the ad come out that you were fighting Brennan France, and I'm not saying anything bad about Brennan France. I actually held pads for him before your fight. His coach had an injured shoulder, and I'm good friends with him. So he's a great guy. He's a bulldog though, and he's blitzes, and he throws those haymakers, and he wants to put you. He's like a great value Michael Chandler. Right. So I mean that with the most respect. You know what I'm saying? He is jacked. He's a freaking tank. But you just look like whatever, dude. I'm not worried about any of that shit. I'm going to stand my ground. I'm going to throw my technique, and I'm just going to work until you can't keep up with my pace anymore. You shove that knee right through his body. Dude, it would look like a surgeon. I was just so proud of you. I've seen you take some fights. I've seen you take some fights in the Buck Wild promotion that I thought you won, honestly. And that just makes me such a huge fan of you. Again, going back to your team aspects, because you took your loss like a man, and you came in the room and you started coaching your teammates again. But back to your last fight, what was going through your mind in there as those lunch boxes were coming at your head? Because I know Brandon France, if you say Brandon France, when they blow the whistle, he's sprinting over there and trying to get him in that ass. So what was your game plan going in there, and did it go the way you planned it to go?
Oh, yeah. So I want to start by saying that dude was so tough. It was insane. I've never hit somebody with intention like that. Like, I wanted to break my knee through to his spine, and he got up both of the first 2 times I dropped him, and then proceeded to come at me faster than before I dropped him. I was constantly adapting. I was having to make adjustments the whole fight. And if you watch on the third drop, he was just completely backing me up. I was shelled and I tossed it out, and he was extended. But his blitzes are insane, man. And we knew that going into it. I knew he was shorter, and I play the long game primarily. A lot of jabs, a lot of teeps, a lot of push kicks. And I wanted to get a good read off how hard he was going to blitz, because I knew he's a primarily boxer type. He throws his hands mainly. And so I realized if I just shell and stay protected from the hands and blast the knee out, every time it's going to find the body. And that was not so much of my realization. My teammate, Will Leary, Ill Will, he's one of the champs of the Buck Wild promotion, and him and Professor George were breaking this guy down, just letting me know, like, he's going to extend, he's going to reach. He literally has to reach you, and he's going to chase. And you don't get caught up in that firefight and go toe-to-toe with him. That's where I lose. They wanted me to play dance off, find resets, touch up his body, and then find the banger when he blitzed real hard, So it was mostly just peppering him to keep him away. But I never planned on you said that first minute cut out. I got a big sweep on him, and I don't really train sweeps a whole lot. So it was just like that fight showed me that I'm ready to just adapt in the moment and not just stick to a one-track mind. I'm also able to listen to my coaches and still adapt in the moment. So that was cool. That was one big takeaway for me,
That's awesome, man. And you love to see it. You love to see a guy with a positive attitude like you have and a work ethic like you have succeed like that. Is Is the plan to stay striking and Muay Thai? Do we do any jiu-jitsu? Do you like to put the gi on? Do you like to give struggle snuggles at all?
The thing, I have very light exposure to jiu-jitsu, so I can't speak on it too heavily. But the only reason I've ever really like hesitated to do any jiu-jitsu is I just love Muay Thai so much, and the more I can fill my schedule with Muay Thai, the better for me. I mean, we'll see where the road takes me. I used to wrestle coming up in high school, as I could see from my few times at open mats. That doesn't hold up very well against jiu-jitsu. So at least my wrestling didn't. But yeah, it's not off the table. You know, it's on the table as an option down the line. You know, definitely got some room to improve striking first. If MMA is an option to look at.
Yeah, and we do every single day. We do. You see these guys, like my favorite thing to reference now to my students. They're always asking me, like, Coach, what do I need to do to get better? And I say everything, every damn day. And I reference Merab Dvalishvili, and I just hit him Sunday. Reference this when Daniel Cormier goes to knock on his door Sunday after he won the belt, and this dude's 10 miles deep on a run because we still got work to do.
Insane.
You know what I mean? So it's gotta be like that. Yeah, no, and I can imagine, you know, there's some jiu-jitsu gyms that just being a high school wrestler, you can do fairly well, you know, but I don't think that George Gurgel's guys on the mats are dudes that you're going to go in there with just a little. They're probably pretty freaking good on the mats, man. He's pretty good. Bro.
Insane.
So your teammate, Will Leary, he fights MMA, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
His most recent, I want to say 3 fights. I should be more studied up on his discography, but we're for Cage Zilla out in DC, and he caught one. I think he held on his last one, but he caught the meanest flying knee I've ever seen. Yeah, he was just balling out on the dude, and it was just like a straight performance. And that's one of those things that, like, from one fighter to another, we respect. You know, one, the courage to do it in the first place, but two, he executed his game plan perfectly, didn't get finished, didn't walk away with an injury, hit all of the cool shit he wanted to do, put on a show. And it's like, at the end of the day, bro, crowd was riled up. You hit all the stuff you wanted to hit, left happy, you know. And I'm taking constant notes from people around me like that, because it's like, at the end of the day, the reason we take amateur fights is so that when we go pro, nothing is new. You know, I want to make sure I get cut up and beat up and dropped and hurt in fights and all the worst. Get it out the way. So when I'm pro, it doesn't faze me, you know. And watching my teammates go out there and take losses in stride, wins with grace, you know, it's just it keeps me humble and shows me how to react properly to outcomes. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. And that's kind of what I like to do. I like to bring the kids that aren't fighting. I know we've shared a locker room, and I like to bring the guys that are training with the fighters, that spar with the fighters, and they aspire to fight. I like to bring them in the locker room. I like to help make them help with the shakeout, let them see what that's all about before they ever fight. Just it grows that camaraderie, and they're not in shock when they see it live in person. It's not a situation where they're like, they're getting taped up by Tiger Banks right now, and they're awestruck because Tiger Banks is a legend. You know, George Gurgel's sitting on the floor talking to his teammates, and that guy's got like 10 fights in the UFC or some, you know, and they're 18 years old, so their head's all over the place. I love that. Now, I see you coach now. How long have you been coaching, and how has coaching made you a better fighter?
Yeah, coaching, I want to say officially like a year, maybe a little less, but they've kind of been getting me prepped for that role for a lot longer than that, just letting me pick up classes and learn from professor on the coaching aspect of things. And really the main thing that it's taught me is more mindset than anything. I mean, technical proficiency will always improve when you're being nitpicky on somebody else, especially when they're at a level where you can make a bunch of tangible adjustments early. You know, that always just kind of instills reminders in your head while you're moving. I just told him not to wing his elbow while he throws a jab. Why the hell am I doing it? You know, just little reminders. But at the same time, it's like one of my biggest downfalls with coaching, with fighting martial arts, even as a whole, has just been self-belief and like feeling that imposter syndrome in the moment, like not deserving of the fight itself or not deserving of the wins or breaking down my wins like I didn't do anything special. Just constant self-sabotage. And coaching has this it's this outlet effect on me where I'm helping other people effectively sort that same issue out. And it's helping me kind of compartmentalize all the issues that I face with like doubting myself, being hard on myself and critical. It just helps me remember, like, don't be so hard on yourself. As simple as that is, it's just like, just keep moving. It's really not that difficult.
Yeah, man, I share that same kind of sentiment. I was like the guy that was in there selfishly striking when we didn't really have. Tanner and I and our best friend Justin Gibson started our kickboxing program in our old gym. We didn't have one. And we had all had a kickboxing experience, and it basically was just we talked the coach into giving us a space where we could kickbox each other, right? And then we started a program, and then we got with Coach Mo. Coach Mo, our head coach, he's a black belt. He owns our gym. He has cornered John Fitch in the UFC. He's cornered Juan Archuleta. He's Leandro Vieira black belt, so that's our George Gurgel. He's the guy that. So we were just kind of reckless doing I wouldn't say reckless. I might have been reckless. Tanner always yelled at me because I would just lay hands on people. Like I said, I was selfish.
What was that for?
Right. Yeah. Right. See, Tanner, I wasn't the bad guy. I didn't cause me CTE. They signed the waiver. Every single one.
Like, shut up, Zane.
Yeah. But then so the first fight I took was to let our coach see, hey, we deserve a kickboxing program, so let's do this. And I had never taught like that. And thank God I had Tanner and Gip, and we literally learned how to coach people in a fight camp, headed to Iron Kickboxing card. And I found that I sucked halfway through that camp. I was like, I'm trying to teach these guys, but I'm doing like, it's like tribal knowledge. They don't know what a check left hook is. They don't know what a calf kick is. They don't know how to change levels on a body shot. So what did you find out about yourself when you started coaching? Like, my thing was, I'm really freaking lazy with that hook, Zane, because I trust it so much, right? That check left hook. I'm lazy with it because it lands so many times. Why should I ever worry about cleaning it up? And that's one thing I learned about myself. What did you find in your patterns?
Yeah, that's crazy you bring that up. It's like, I realized that I fight down to people's levels. If somebody's boxing me a whole bunch, I don't stay up on my game. I don't keep teeping them and shit. I go through that classic meathead mentality of like, oh, we're boxing now, and I get my head knocked off. And it's one of those things that I've realized, like, I can't be telling people like, circle, keep that teep going, when I play the same way. I get sucked in, but it's helped me catch that and be a little bit more on top of it with corrections.
That's good, man. We had a pro MMA fighter. Brandon Clausen was his name. He was fighting a guy that ended up in the UFC. His name's Nick Aguirre, and so we're in this camp for him, and Tanner's the jiu-jitsu coach. I'm his primary sparring partner. He's like my age, but only like 145 pounds. And I tell you, Zane, I'm 200 pounds and I can wear a shot. I have no problem eating a shot. I'm a big fat boy. I get my calories. They don't hurt me much. But this dude, every time he got past my reach, I swear to God, it was like sticking my tongue on a live battery. Brandon
just
Clausen
threw with all his weight.
Oh, dude, his name
And
was
then
the hand
some.
grenade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any teammates that when they touch you, it's like otherworldly power like that?
I mean, what's funny is all of my teammates that compete, I'm saying this to all you guys who end up watching this, everybody reminds me from time to time that they can, and they would if the moment came up. But, ones that stand out.
Part of being a good sparring partner.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it turns up a little bit, and they're like, "We can turn it up," and I'm like, "I'm good. Yeah, let's keep it like light play." You know, yeah. Thanks for the
Yeah.
reminder. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, a couple that give me that vibe of like really coming in with power is definitely Will. He can crack you at any time, and he's a sniper too. He can just pick a shot. He knows it's there for about a minute. He's just letting you play, and then he
Yeah, I
finds
saw
it.
him win his belt.
Clips.
I saw him win his
Oh
Buck
my
Wild belt.
gosh.
Yeah, that kid is
Yeah.
nuts.
He is extraordinary. And then on that note, Randy too. Randy Savage. He's like our team captain right now. He's our biggest boy. And he is a unit. Oh my gosh. Every time he touches you, it's just like it hurts, of course, but you realize he's pulling it. And even with that power being pulled, you're like, dude, you are so strong. Oh my gosh. It's terrifying.
Man, I've had it. So I've had it with, I mean, Brandon Clausen, obviously. That's the guy we're talking about. And shout out to him. He's one of the greatest dudes in the world, man. He actually paid for us to become licensed cornermen. He spent
Wow.
one day with us training jiu-jitsu with Tanner, training kickboxing with me, and wrestled Gip. And he's like, you guys are my corner from now on. Like, I don't care. If I ever fight again, you're my striking coach. You know, he's just salt
That's
of the
so
earth.
awesome.
And I also had it from a guy who I considered, you know, like my actual kickboxing coach, Greg Adams. Like, Greg would be coaching you and he'd be trying to lead you down some kind of pathway and you wouldn't be getting the hint. And he would just fucking light you up. Or he would be leading you down the pathway and you would be doing a little too good and he would fucking light you up.
Either way, you're getting lit up, bro. Yeah.
You're right. So you got any,
That's so funny.
does Professor Gurgel ever throw the gloves on, or do you have any other striking coaches that get in there and lay the wood with you guys?
Oh, there's a couple. Yeah. There's Professor. He hasn't moved in a while as he's kind of in recovery right now. But the last time he sparred me, I remember the round ended and all I had to say was, it's nice when the coaches remind us why they're coaches. You know, he whooped my ass. And then Coach Jake Halsey, you've actually seen him fight as well. He hasn't coached out at our school in a while as he just welcomed a little boy into the world. But
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He had a straight boxing fight.
Yep.
When Will and I fought, and won.
Yep.
I got a finish too. He is just a different breed. Like when he moves, it is the definition of finesse. And when it's like he's helping with fight camps or hops on the mats and comes in and makes the rare cameo, I'm just like, oh God, here we go. You know.
The dude looks like a silent assassin. I know exactly who you're talking about. And funny story about the guy he had a boxing match with. So the guy he had a boxing match with was out of the same town that we fight out of, Rhino's Gym out of Lafayette. And he was scheduled to fight one of my guys. One of his friends came to Rhino, sparred my guy, went back, told his friend, you should not fight that guy. Then this idiot goes to that venue, tells them, I just won a boxing match with somebody. And they got that guy.
Bro, like what? People in this sport sometimes, man, like the way of thinking is so questionable. Yeah, that's.
I told him afterwards. I told your friend the story, and I had tears in my eyes, laughing so hard, thinking that this kid thought he was just gonna get a free pass, and he
just fight a can, and then he gets his ass whooped.
Yeah, he got lit up, dude. It was like not fair.
That's so funny.
What's coming up next for Zane McMullen, man, and Team George Gurgel, MMA, kickboxing? When is your next fight? Do you think I could lobby for you to go fight for that Buck Wild kickboxing belt again so I could go watch you live? What do we want to do, Zane McMullen?
So what's next is currently I'm just spending time with the kiddos and my fiance Kylie. She needs a break too. Every time I do fight camp, I'm sure you guys know they go through fight camp too. So I'm letting her take a little bit of time off. We're going out to Gatlinburg and just having a nice reset. When I'm back, we're going to start looking at what's next for the fights. Nothing lined up, but I stay training. I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. I run almost every day except Sundays. You know, that's the rest day. We lift every day except Saturday and Sunday, and I'm training every day too. So it's consistent. Stay obsessed, you know.
For sure, man. For sure. Especially like I'm 35 years old. I need knee surgery in the fall and shoulder surgery in the fall. So I'm transitioning more to that coaching role. I plan to compete again after I'm healed up, but I'm not on a trajectory like you guys. The guys we have on this show that want to be professionals, basically our goal is to just get you guys out there, man. We love and support every single one of you guys. We want to see you succeed.
So awesome.
And like you don't get the chance to be like hands-on fans. You know what I mean? You guys can't understand how much it means to us to see and talk to you guys and our 16 and 14 and 15-year-old kids that get to go sit in the locker room, watch you guys prepare like professionals, then go out and execute a game plan, and then come in and not be dickheads. You guys aren't slapping brews around. You're not pouring beer on each other. You're all super respectful to one another. You're all super respectful to your opponents, man. It's great to see. Right now, Zane, we just want to give you a couple minutes to put Zane McMullen out there. You said Instagram was the only social media you had, but do you have a Facebook page? Where is your music? Where can people look at your art? Where is JG MMA so people can come try your kickboxing class? You might see a big bald dude in there with a Raven tattoo one day.
Let's go. Any day. You're welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you
Come on
so
in
much.
sometime, please. Yeah,
Let
y'all
the people
follow me
know.
on Instagram. Yeah, Zane.McMullen. That's just a personal. I got my art page is SG_sketch. The E is a 3, keeping it easy on everybody. And then my band's page is OFR Cincy. And we're in the studio right now dropping music by the end of the fall. Everybody stay tuned on that. Fight announcements will be coming by the end of the summer. I'll be lining up stuff for the fall, be getting active towards the end of the year. And I appreciate y'all having me on, man. You guys kill it. Y'all's show is awesome. You guys giving me some time to just represent myself and get to talk with you guys a bit means the world, for real.
Man, we appreciate it. And this, like you said, it's a platform for all you guys to get out there. But, we want to be known for this kind of thing too, but we really want to be known for the type of people we are when we're actually face to face with you guys and in the moment coaching. And we want to be known as sincere martial artists. Just one more chance here. If you got a message for the people, if you got something weighing on your heart, if you need to let the world know anything right before we get out of here, Zane McMullen, all love. Thank you from the Mixed Martial Idiots show. What do you got?
Yeah. Y'all come out to JG MMA in Westchester or Lebanon, Ohio. We're located out of Cincinnati. I coach. You can meet Professor George. He's always running it there. We got classes in the morning, in the afternoon, at the nighttime. Everybody's welcome. All skill levels, all ages. We want to see everybody improve. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all.
Hell yeah, man. We're going to get some cameras, like we said. We're going to go shoot Rhino's gym, right? That's where we're out of. We got to get HQ done first. Coach Mo will beat my ass if he doesn't get to go first. And fuck everybody else. Come fight that man. You don't want anything to do with that. And then we're going to start making our way around. We would love to get a camera in there for your kickboxing class. Of course, we'll ask, Coach Professor Gurgel. I might even talk him into beating me up in some jiu-jitsu because I love jiu-jitsu so much, and watching that guy do his thing. As a kid, I was a huge fan, like I said, and we're just a huge fan of you, sir, and everything that you guys do. So all love, dude.
What do you mean might? Because I'm definitely going to try to talk that man into beating me up.
Yeah, we're paying the drop-in fee to get beat up.
Yeah, 100%, and buying a T-shirt on the way out.
Yeah.
Worth it. Let's go. Yeah.
All right, man. Again, guys, this is the Mixed Martial Idiots interviews. This is Zane Shotgun McMullen. Get it fucking right. That boy's coming to do his thing. If you draw him in your bracket, that's tough luck. Tanner Francisco Dunphy, I love you, you ugly piece of shit. We'll see you guys Sunday for the Mixed Martial Idiots podcast. We out.